Hey everyone, welcome to the Blue Collar Enlightenment Show where we learn new things every episode through conversations with guests from all around the globe. I'm your host Jonah, and if you're new, welcome. I hope to earn your subscription today. Today we welcome Stephanie Serone, a licensed transformologist. Enjoy. What's up, Stephanie? How's it going?
So well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
And we're excited to have you on. Tell us and the listeners just a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Steph. I live in Australia. I've just turned 33, and I work with women with their emotional issues, very much things like anxiety, PTSD, understanding the way women think and process emotion, because we find that women can try to go to all those mainstream things like psychology, therapy, counseling, hypnotherapy, NLP, all that type of stuff. A majority of us don't find lasting results. We have to keep going back and back and back again. And we feel like there's still things that we're finding just aren't getting us to that point. So I work with those women that are finding that they just can't get past the things that are holding them back. And I work with a female specific process to really just get them quickly past that stuff so they can love who they are. They can believe in themselves. They can really have that confidence and spark about themselves in their life and actually enjoy their lives again.
So what brought you into this journey that you're taking at the moment?
Well, it was probably from when I was about 8 to 2017. So basically my whole life, I had lost like my sense of self. I was bullied quite heavily when I was young, and I started just being a big people pleaser. Like I just wanted everyone to like me. So I would just bend over backwards to just be the friendliest, nicest, most likable person that I could be. And I had like high expectations on myself. I was just this perfectionist. I would just really push myself and put so much pressure on myself to be a certain way. And as I grew up, I had a really sort of emotionally abusive relationship with a narcissistic partner. And I think that even crushed the little bit of self-worth and self-love that I actually had, and made me feel like I didn't really have much value as a person. I ended up getting really anxious, really depressed. I just lost my spark. I just lost who I was, and no matter what I tried, I just couldn't get that back. I was always stuck in my head. I felt so disconnected. I was overthinking everything, had social anxiety, and it was just a really negative place to be. I was working in a job where I was really overworked. I was taking on like 3 people's jobs, and I would go down into my car in my lunch break and I would just cry. And I wasn't okay. And I tried a lot of things, mainly psychology, and I also had chronic pain on top of all that. So it just really felt like I was trapped in this body that was in pain 24/7, and I just couldn't escape, and it was depleting my happiness. But I didn't realize that I had a lot of self-worth issues that were really the crux of all of it. And the pain was just that thing on top that I couldn't ignore to go, no, I need to actually find an answer and fix this. So that sort of led me to what I do now for women. For myself, back in 2017, they actually got me out of all of that. And then living that way, living confidently and happily, finally, for a few years, I realized, wow, like I want to be able to do that and help other women feel that same emotional freedom that I was searching for so long.
Right. And what were some of the steps that you took to pull yourself out of that, that dark place that you were in?
Yeah, well, I tried everything mainstream that I could possibly think of, the things that you're referred to, you're struggling, so you go to the doctor, and then a doctor will refer you to like a psychologist, or mind body, like chronic pain type therapies and programs and things like that, counseling, all those types of things. I tried meditation, mindfulness, all these sorts of things, journaling, and although in the moment some of those things that like got you out of it, where you could go, okay, I'm just gonna block everything out and try and like ground myself in that moment, although in that moment it could feel okay, as soon as I got out of that moment, it was like everything hit me again. And with the psychologist, I would be going there and feeling worse and worse, because I'm just talking about all these negative stuff, and it's making it real, and I'm reliving it and just bringing up all this painful stuff. And I would leave feeling worse than I felt when I came there, week after week after week. And it was like, I remember one day the psychologist said to me, like, you're just going to have to really accept this. And it was just like, there was just this stubborn part of me that I was just like, no, like, I can't accept this, because when I look into the future, all I could see was this miserable old lady that had just wasted away her life, and she was just like sucking the joy out of everybody else's life. And I was just like, I can't, like, that can't be my life. Like, it can't be. And I had given up hope, honestly, of anything out there actually being able to help, because I had tried everything that they say you should do when you don't feel happy. And I would look at my husband, I was just like, I'm not okay. And he's just like, what do you need? I'm like, there's nothing that can help me. And I had found the Institute of Women International online, and I actually knew the lady who created it. I had worked with her years prior in a direct selling company, and I didn't know what she was doing, but she sent me a couple of videos because I really like editing, and she needed help with some before and afters of the clients that she was working with. And as soon as I saw the women talking about how they felt before, and they were just in just such emotional states, and then after, where they were just free and you could just see in their eyes that all of that pain was gone, I just was just like, that's what I need. How do I do that? And that, yeah, once I reached out and was just like, can I please do this? And I actually went through the process myself. Within 2 weeks, everything I was dealing with was completely gone. It was just the women's way. And I didn't realize that everything I was trying was made by men for the way men process emotions. So that's why it just wasn't cutting the mustard.
Yeah, and men and women they process emotion differently. Obviously.
Oh, so much. We think differently.
Men, we're trained to push it down, look forward, move forward, and ignore it.
Yes.
We're not brought up to talk about that kind of stuff.
And that's really not good as well.
And there's a trend going around, I think, right now on TikTok about how men, they're talking about how they live their life, how they have to live,
Yes.
And then you see the differences between men and women on a daily basis. And, as a man myself, I'm not going to be able to know how a woman processes her emotion, obviously. So you can attest to that. That I don't know how ladies do that.
Yeah, and you're not expected to know, because you don't have our minds and bodies. But you can see it in females in your life that it's not the same as how you do it. And it's not that one's better than the other. It's just we are just so unique in how we think. Like, men have very logical, straightforward sort of minds. Like, it's like, I have a problem, give me a solution, I'll implement that, and then I'll move forward. Whereas we have women, our minds are more like a jumbled a jumbled mess. So like, whereas men's are compartmentalized, women's are just like a ball of wire all tangled together, or like
I love that
headphones.
analogy. I remember hearing that women's is like a wired mess and it's all
Yes.
linked together. And you look in a man's mind, it's like a bunch of boxes. And those boxes have a place and a label, and nothing else touches that box.
Exactly, 100%. And we aren't like that. It's like a jumbled mess. Like, you can't talk about one thing because that leads to another thing, and that leads to another thing, and this and this and this and this and this.
You're not lying.
Quit looking at me.
I figured you'd have something to say about this.
I just think it's funny because we were just talking about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay on one subject.
Yeah, because
Oh,
everything's
that's
connected
hilarious.
to everything.
Yep.
You are wrong.
And men can't have stuff touching.
No.
Work can't touch family. Fun can't touch everything else.
Exactly. And you know
separate.
what men have as well, which is amazing, is a nothing box.
Oh, that's my favorite box.
That is the box Jonah lives in.
That's my favorite box.
I don't think he ever comes out.
I do. So I'm out. I'm a little bit out right now. No,
You're in your podcast box.
I'm in my podcast box. Podcast box. I'll go into my nothing box right after this because the podcast box would be too full for me to be in there anymore. It's time.
Yeah, immediately after, as soon as you get off, straight in the nothing box.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So, how hard is it for you to keep focus on your emotions while helping these other women?
That's a good question. So part of the program and my training is dealing with my stuff so it doesn't get in the way of who I'm helping. Because if anything is triggered in me, then I'm not actually going to be my best self to help the person in front of me. And it's not really about me when somebody's needing to move through the heavy things they're dealing with. It doesn't help if they've got my stuff as well. So before I became accredited and licensed, I actually worked through a lot of the things that would have come up, not just personally, but also to be able to facilitate big things for women and hold that space for them to be able to share whatever they need to, so I can say, no matter what, it's not a problem. It's one tool for all the issues, but we're human at the end of the day when we're hearing these stories, and we know all the pain and the emotions that these women have lived through. We are human. So although I've worked through everything so that I can really hold that space and not be emotionally affected by it, have empathy, but not actually emotionally be affected and sit in their pain with them, because that's what you need to help them up. But if and when anything actually ever did, that's my first point of call, to actually use the same method that I use. I get a sister transmologist that's also accredited I'm like, hey, something's come up, jump in, fix that so that I can be there for my client, because it's the most important thing. And to think that there's never going to be anything that triggers us is ridiculous. Like, it's just knowing that you've got the right process and the right tools there to be able to move through that yourself if that happens and when that happens.
And what do you do to get the qualifications to what's the word I'm looking for? To start. I mean, I guess a simple way to put it.
Yeah, so it's a lot of people that actually do train, there's only around 200 women in the world that are actually licensed in it. So it's like a very specific process and it's very advanced. But women come from lots of different places. Some of them already do counseling or hypnotherapy or things like Reiki or yoga and things like that, and just want another tool in their toolbox because they can see where that stuff's missing, what they need as a part for different women depending on where they're at in their life. But then a lot of women, like me, just come from a life of stress and then realizing after that everything they've been doing has been not ridiculous, but it's not being aligned with them. Like everything I was doing before was just pushing myself to be in like the highest sort of paying, most successful looking roles I could, because I thought that that's where my worth came from. Whereas afterwards I was just like, no, I want to do something that matters and something that I'm passionate about and that helps people and helps me feel good. But so the training itself, it used to be just in Brisbane in Australia. Anyone that was flying, anyone internationally would have to go to Australia to do that. But with COVID, it's online now, which is great because I was on the other side of Australia when I started training. So they've got that online. But basically, it's just making sure that you have the right values to do it properly, because it's ongoing training. You're constantly training, you're constantly audited, making sure that you're doing it the same as everybody else and that you're doing it right. So it's a combination of theory, like understanding how women think, why they think the way they do, and then also practical, so online, doing the process with the other women that are training, and while the trainers are watching and making sure that everything's covered, all the safety protocols are there, because safety is just a huge part of it. And yeah, once you've gone through that, you get your accreditation, but you never stop learning. It's constant learning, constant growth, and the trainers are always there to help at any point if you come across something that you haven't come across before. So we're constantly growing as people and facilitators.
Yeah, and we were talking when we did our when we met before, we were talking about how within society we get caught up in what we think we should be doing instead of what we actually want to do.
Yes.
And we chase that dream and we waste that time of saying, this is what I should be doing, instead of saying, this is what I want to do.
Yes.
And so when you look back on life, you're going to regret. And of course, you're going to have that hate towards things. And so we have to chase, that we hear it all the time when we're kids, everything like that. Chase your dreams, right? But we get lost in what society thinks we should be doing instead of what we think we should be doing.
Yeah, because sometimes we don't even know. We're so disconnected from ourselves. We don't even know.
Yeah, not only that, people are so scared of failure that they're so timid to do anything.
Yeah, fear of failure is huge. Like I work on that with basically every single woman that I work with, because if we're fearful to fail, we're too scared to even try. But then once that's gone, it's like when you get all that wisdom around what failure means, not logically, but in the back of our minds where the fear comes from. When you go to do the thing, the fear is not there because the failure is not so scary.
You're right. And I was actually having this conversation with my son not too long ago about how he's scared of failure, and that if you're going to fail, you might as well fail fast and hard.
Yes.
Because the harder lessons you learn, the faster you're going to get to that goal of being the best at what you do.
Yeah, that's right. Most successful people do that.
Yeah, a big thing today is actually starting and finishing a project.
Yeah.
Starting and finishing. You can start projects all day long. It's finishing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm good at that. It's just starting things.
Preach it. Yeah, Mr. I complete everything I start. Ask my living room. What is this, year 5, year 4?
No, it's not.
He's still going. He hasn't finished yet.
Hey.
It's a work in progress.
It's gotta visualize itself in my mind before it's gotta come out of the box. Okay. I gotta go to that box before I get to that point.
Well, unpack some of your boxes so you can get back to that
I
one.
can't.
That box is taped up in the attic.
In concrete right now.
It's got a lock on it, and the key is in the box with all the keys in it.
But you've lost the
those
box.
keys have been piling up for years. Okay.
You're such a turkey.
It's a good analogy, though, because you can nag and nag and nag, but if it's not the right time with the right key at the right point, it's not going to get opened.
Well, that nothing box has a light that shines bright, man. It draws me in like a bug.
It's more like a lighter, but anyhow.
Oh, shit. Oh, where were we at? Good sidetracked here.
Yeah.
Oh. So here's a question, maybe a dumb question, but if you were to explain to men the best way to interpret women's feelings, what would you say?
Wow. What an awesome question. So basically, everything has a meaning. So we attach meaning to things. So say, like, as an example, your wife asks you to wash up. She's had a big day and she's done everything else and she's going to go to bed early. And could you just get that washing up done? She wakes up and the washing up is still there. She will take that to mean a whole heap of things. It will mean that she is never listened to. It means she doesn't matter. It means that she's not a priority. It means you don't care about her. It means this. It means that. And so basically, we add meaning to so many different things. So even like trying to understand it, even ourselves, is hard, let alone a man trying to understand it. And so I even trying to interpret it is probably not even a good mission to try and give yourself, to be honest. It's like walking into all these these traps that are all sitting on the floor and you can't see them.
You're walking on a minefield, brother.
Yeah, exactly, because like we can get set off ourselves before we even know, like, well, especially when we've got chronic emotions and things that trigger us quite easily. We just can go to that place within like a millisecond and have all those thoughts and things just running through our mind immediately before we even know. But it's really just understanding that happens, but also understanding that we've got so much going on in our heads at one time, so that if something, like my husband will say, I'll be talking about something and he'll be like, just don't, like I'll be worrying about it or whatever, and he'll just be like, just don't think about it. We can't just not think about it. Like, it's impossible.
If you got something to say, you got a microphone.
She's just speaking
right
truth. She's just speaking all this truth.
Time out real quick.
Everybody into your head.
Everybody on Apple and all these other, except Spotify and YouTube, you're going to have to go watch this video. Okay? T's here. She's not ready to be on video, but you got me. Okay, she's over here giving me all kinds of looks, all kinds. Look, I'm getting, for you guys out there in the audience, I'm getting stares and stuff from my wife trying to get you this information. So I really hope you like and subscribe. Okay, because
You're in the trenches.
What? Because what?
I'm in the trenches here.
Yeah, because now you're hearing it from another woman's perspective. And it's exactly what I say to you. Like, these are words that I have spoken to you. And I know every man out there who's with a woman has heard this from them. Like, it's not just me. I'm not just crazy. I'm not the only crazy one, at least. You know what I mean? So,
you're not crazy. We're just different. It's just how our minds work. And like understanding how men's minds work and how women's minds work, it just helps us to just really get it and know that we can't think the same. We can't expect each other to think the same because we're just not the same.
No, we're not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Think about it.
How about you take the conversation?
Well, I just think it's funny because, like, she's like speaking all these things that I have said to you, and the worst part is like, I do not hold back. If something makes me mad, I'm going to tell them exactly why it makes me mad and why or what makes me mad.
See, this is not counseling.
Sure it is. You need counseling. That's what I'm saying.
This is not our marriage counseling. She's giving the audience. This is not directed towards me.
But if the shoe fits.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm like under the gun here.
Literally, we're just talking about how you love your nothing box so much. Like,
I'm on a cannon fire.
That's where you escape in there.
We're trying to get info out, and how somehow this is turned back around to me. Why are you staring at me like that?
I'm just staring at
I am
you.
literally about to turn this camera.
No, you ain't even.
Anyway, we need to get back to the guest we have on the show.
She's enjoying this, just like all the others.
Yes, I am.
We're crazy people. Oh. Turkey head.
I love my podcast. I really do.
You love your podcast? How about your wife?
I love my wife too.
Yeah, that's it.
Mean to me right now.
There's meaning in that.
There is. God, why am I getting that? Anyway, men and women's feelings different. Yes, that is correct. So how when you take on a client, how do you let me word this right. How do you find out where you need to start?
That's a great question. So I just get them talking. And basically I'm trained to listen to their language. So all of our blocks and things are actually hidden in our language, but we can't hear ourselves and analyze ourselves. So as soon as we get talking in the right state about the right things and I'm asking the right questions, those things will come up. And then I can help them highlight what's actually going on and say, look, these are the things that I can see are a really big issue for you, that you're feeling a lot, you're saying a lot, that they're bringing up a lot of emotion, they're being triggered a lot, and this is how it's showing up for you in your life, and this is how it's affecting you, and this is how it's affecting everyone around you. I do that in a consultation. But then if I'm actually going to be moving forward to resolve all of the issues, because I don't just work on, say someone comes and they're just like, I'm just so angry, I just get angry, and if I could just really deal with my anger, I'll be okay. If I just fixed anger, then there'd be, because women's minds are all over the place, there'd be frustration and pissed off and annoyed and all that just underneath it. So I work with everything to really just basically get the emotions to an unchronic state, to a really calm level, all of them. None of them are heightened, but it's a whole process in itself to do that. So there's a pre-assessment that I work on with women if we're like, yep, this is what we're going to do, and that identifies all the deep saboteuring underlying stuff, and that comes up in a different way when we do writing. And so some of those that they aren't even aware of, logically, it doesn't even come up, but they're the deep-seated things that are really creating all of those emotional states that most women are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So that's the stuff that I really work on.
Sounds like you would enjoy our favorite pastime here in Oklahoma, a tornado catching.
Okay.
That sounds exactly like what you're doing.
Yes.
Well, she just gave me like 10 different emotions in one setting, and she goes, that could be within 5 seconds. That's a tornado if I've ever seen it.
And that's just like a skerrick of it's like a skerrick of what we deal with, because like everything is just so like pissed off and annoyed to women are so different, whereas men have, so we have like a bigger vocabulary of emotion, whereas men is like angry, and then there's sad, and then there's excited. Men, like a lot of men don't even really feel excited very often. I know my husband doesn't. He's just cool as a cucumber most of the time. But it's like you have just the main labels of emotion, whereas women, do you have Bunnings over there? Do you have like where you go and get different paints and there's a colour walls with all the different paints on there? Do you have any shops like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like all the different paint samples, and there's all the different shades of color. There's blue, but there's like 50 different shades of blue. Our emotions are like that. There's like sadness, but then there's also like depressed, and then there's also miserable, and there's also all these things that are so close in blue. Where if we just asked you to go pick blue, it'd be like, no, but that's eggshell, or that's whatever, like we've got a huge emotional vocabulary, and that's why it's a big, deep process to actually unlayer it all and make it neat and tidy.
Yeah. It's rough processing this because there's so much we've got to dive into. So once you begin to figure out where your clients need the most help, do you sit down and you make a plan for them, goals, things like that? What's your process there?
Yeah, so it's super simple. Basically, I create a list of everything that they've got going on, and we work through the whole entire list. So as an example, I've got one up of a lady I was just working with earlier, and she's got, it's two A4 pages, tiny writing, probably size 8. So there's like probably like 80 issues that she's got that we'll be working through. But saying that, because we've got such a big vocabulary, when we find the right things, we hone in on the very specific biggest issues that are the most debilitating and the ones that are creating the most issues in that woman's life, personally for her, the rest just fall away like a tree. Like if we just focused on all the little things that are the leaves and the bark and every little emotion and issue, we would be there for years. But I just find the roots and just pick that up and tip it over. Everything falls over with it when we grab the big stuff. And so with that issue list, at each session, they rate how strongly they feel that on a scale of 0 to 10. And we work through that. So by the end, nothing rates over a 4. We say 4 or below, ready to go. That's a normal emotion when we think about a memory in time. So say we think about a memory in time where we were angry. If we get an emotional charge that we feel just by thinking about it, that is more than a 4, it's a sign that intervention is helpful, because we shouldn't be feeling that much emotion just from a memory, just from thinking about something happening. If something's happening in the moment, yeah, absolutely, because that's what our emotions are for, current issues. But anything in a memory, if it's flagging something higher than that, it shows that they're heightened and chronic emotions. So that's what I work on, and I just find the big stuff, and then the rest, just falls away. Really, it's almost like magic. It's amazing.
So do you get the spouses, if they have spouses or, boyfriends, girlfriends involved in the process?
No. So basically so it's a very specific to the woman, and it's only me and her that talk about the things. However, what I do is highly recommend a support person. And so the support person is a lot of the time the partner, because we don't need, you can still do it without it, but it's really, really great to have the understanding and support of your partner, to know that this is what you're doing for this period of time. Normally it's about a month that we work together. So it's like, if for some reason something came up, that you are there to help them and guide them back to me, because there is what we call suppressed emotions that come up sometimes. So I can be working on a list and I can be like, this is everything we're working on. But something really deep, dark and ugly, once we start peeling the layers off, we'll be like, oh, she's ready for me now. I'm just gonna show myself. And it can be scary for the person that's experiencing it, because it's like full on whack. It's like you've just been hit by a train of emotion. However, I am trained to deal with that. So if there's no support person that's telling someone to go back to Steph, when that happens, when you're in emotion, you don't think clearly. So even though I've told that woman a million times, if that happens, come back and see me. I'll be able to find half an hour and we'll sort it out immediately. It's not a big deal. It's actually a good thing, because we pull out a lot of other stuff when we find those big, deep, dark, ugly ones. They're in emotion. They're just like, oh my gosh, it's not working. I feel worse than I ever have. Like, run away. So we need the support person to be like, no, this she said this was going to happen. Go back to Steph. So the support person is really helpful.
So if they don't have Steph and say a husband and a wife are arguing, and one of those suppressed emotions just so happens to pop up, what, in your opinion, is the best way to get out of the situation?
For the partner to get out of the situation?
This is knowledge, okay? I'm trying to ask. Hey, this works both ways, because I'm sure there's women out there that have that spouse that have the same problem.
Yeah. So are you asking from the perspective of the person with the issue, or the person that's dealing with the person with the issue?
I'm asking for a friend.
So when we are emotional, so our logical mind is the front of our brain, but our emotion, our instincts and everything come from the back. So all of our planning, all of our smartness, all of our intelligence, everything comes from the front. When we're emotional, especially in women, that shuts down, okay? We are literally dumber when we are triggered, emotional, whatever. So if you think, okay, just the way I like to picture it is like a drunk person. And it sounds like disrespectful, but if you think of it that way, like you're the sober one taking a drunk driver home, and they're like, I want to go get McDonald's, go down here, like I'm hungry, whatever, right?
I want my chicken nuggets.
Throwing things out the window, turning the stereo up, all the things. But you're the sober one, and you're just like, oh my gosh, just shut up. You're going to fall asleep before we even get to McDonald's anyway. So it's really about getting out of that emotional state so that the logical mind comes back. So you can sober up literally from the emotion. So it's just having that distance and that space to allow however that person can calm down themselves, chronic emotions are hard because it's still, if it's something that comes up a lot, it's there for a reason. That's why I have a job. That's why I do what I do, because it stops that happening. But if you're in the moment, the best thing for women to do is peripheral exercises. So men are naturally more living in peripheral. Men see more out of their eyes, different eye cells. You see more going on around you. Women are more focused, hyper focused. So when we're emotional, we're very much focused on that thing. Okay, it's all we can see. It's just big, red, and ugly. So if we peripheral exercises are great. So basically, if you just like pick a point on a wall and point your fingers towards it, and then keeping your eyes on the point in the wall, but moving your hands further out so that you can still see them just in the peripherals as far as you can, and just wiggling your fingers. We call it spirit fingers. Kids can do it too. It helps to calm you. So you're looking forward, but you can notice your fingers in your peripherals. That actually gets you into a state of calm, and you can't have anxiety when you're in that state of peripheral. So that's a really good activity to do. Sometimes you can even get real good and do it without your hands. So you could do it, say, if you're in stressful situations like waiting for a hospital, waiting in hospital for surgery, or things that you know are going to get you anxious. That's really handy to do.
Really?
Yeah.
She needs that.
Super simple.
Oh, no. You know what I seen out of my peripheral?
It wasn't even. You got to look at me.
That's why I looked over there. Got a big old middle finger pointed at me.
The very spirited finger.
It's the most spirited on the hand.
Got her giving me finger. I got a cat scratching at my door trying to get in here.
You want to talk about overstimulation?
You're committed.
Oh, I'm deep in here. So back to the women's emotions. Is there a kind of a universal thing that you can say to somebody to help them, on the fly?
Something you can say is really just, a lot of the time it's just the presence, just knowing someone is there, that even you don't have to actually try and fix it, but just to know that you're there to support them. And you could, like, even just things like, yeah, that sounds really hard, or that really sucks. Whatever it is, I'm here. A lot of the time we can think that it's our job to fix other people, but we're not like qualified for that. And I think with my partner, he always used to actually take it personally when I was struggling, because it was like, I must be doing something wrong, because if you're not happy, then it must be me. And I think it was great just knowing he was there and supportive. There was nothing else that I knew there's nothing he's qualified to do to actually fix it. So just knowing that someone's there really is really important and really special to have.
And I'm sure on your side, the self-gratification and
Satisfaction.
Can't even say it. Satisfaction helps motivate you. It's like, I'm deep in this, guys. I'm telling you, my mind is okay. We're talking about emotions. I'm trying to learn about women stuff.
You're doing so well.
I'm trying. We're getting there. How do you feel over there?
Wonderful.
You're not even really talking that much.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I might say something stupid.
No, there's no stupid. There's nothing stupid you can say.
I can't edit this. So
Can't
I
edit
said,
video.
Zip the lip and throw the key away.
Now you can't edit video no more. I mean, it is what
like,
it is. It's in there. It's beautiful.
I'm not messing up today.
We're too far into this to mess up. I mean, people already know we're get crazy.
I know.
These episodes could go in so many different ways, especially when T's on board.
Uh-huh.
And it's being real,
it's like
too.
that mind you were talking about.
Yeah.
Where it's just, woo!
It's a party all the time.
That's right.
Might
You
be a
never know
very
what you're going to
emotional
get.
one, but
Yeah,
Never know.
exactly.
Oh, it's great. There's been some very funny times. Like she came up with her own dab.
I don't even remember what it was.
We called it the Diva Dab. Hey, now I can show you people. Look, I'm gonna the Diva Dab.
Here we
You
go.
gotta hold your purse, right, and then dab it. You gotta.
Yeah.
You can't drop the purse. Can't break the phone in lip gloss.
Is that not how you dab?
No, you
How
gotta
you supposed
stick
to-
your arm out like you're freaking.
Like that?
You know what's so bad about that? No, we ain't even gonna get
Okay.
that. We're not gonna go there. I mean, okay, might as well. We're already there. The dab looks like half-ass Hitler salute. Not
Yeah.
even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, huh?
Oh, yeah, I guess he's right.
Yeah. We going around dabbing.
It's the modern version.
Modern version of the Hitler salute right there. No, I'm
Yep.
just kidding, people. Don't say
Yeah.
anything.
Jonah.
It's just take my
Just-
tinfoil hat off
yeah.
now. Oh, back to the show, right?
Sorry. We're a little redneck.
Oh,
around here.
this is a pretty good episode. I like this.
It's been fun.
So, yeah, well, I got a few more questions and then we'll start wrapping up. But it's definitely been this has been a fun episode for sure. What's been the most enlightening moment of your journey?
It would have to be realizing that you don't have to live life the way other people expect you to live. Because realizing that for me was the biggest change in my whole entire existence. Like, from when I realized that in my healing, after that, myself and my husband, we quit our jobs. We sold everything in our house, rented out, traveled around Australia with our dog in a rooftop tent for a year. It was not, before it was all make the logical, smart decisions in life, save, work your way up, get your mortgage, pay it off, do all these things, stay in a job for 10 years, get long service leave, do all these things. We were living in a town we didn't really love just because our parents lived there, hadn't really seen anything, was just working our asses off, hardly ever saw each other. It was just like, we're not even living. And it was just more the perspective and expectations of others and what society expected you to do that was really controlling how we lived. And realizing that that rule book does not need to apply to you is just a really freeing feeling to go, no, I have my own book, damn it.
So how was that traveling around and living in a van? Downsizing, I'm guessing, massively.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we had like a 3-bedroom house with a massive shed and a massive game room and all that. And we had sold everything and we packed all of our we did it well. Like, my husband is so into 4-wheel drive modifications. So we had the whole setup. We had all the drawers, we had a TV, we had the fridge in the back, we had electric rooftop tan on the top. It was pretty cool. But we were still literally camping for a whole year. So we were in Tasmania in the snow. My feet were freezing. I had to I was trying all these different socks and stuff and ended up a hot water bottle. If you ever need it, that's all you need, just a hot water bottle. But we traveled in beautiful places. We did 4-wheel drive tracks. We went to Ayers Rock. We went to swimming with the seals, all these incredible things. And it was just the freedom of having no schedule and no expectations when all you've known your whole life was just incredible. And I think that gave me the space to really go, wow, what is it that really does make me happy in life? What is it that I actually really want to do? Because I can actually do that. It just seemed like a whole new realization. It's a whole new chapter in your life to go, wow, how does my life look now not living up to expectations?
Yeah, that's our future, is to downsize into a boat.
Oh, exciting.
Living on a boat. That'd be
Are you guys boat people? Do you know a lot about boats? Oh, yeah?
I was in the Navy.
You're all over it then.
I'm like the beautiful lady that just lays out in the sun.
And he brings you grapes and stuff, hey?
I wish. He's always in that nothing box.
I can't be in the nothing box when I'm on the boat. I'm in the boat box.
Yeah, you have all the things.
The captain doesn't bring you grapes.
You bring the captain grapes.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of
when you're in the water.
I've seen a couple of YouTube channels that have people sailing full time and things like that. It looks incredible. What sort of boat do you think you'd get?
We would want like a bigger cabin boat, so that way our kids could come out and visit us and stuff like that. Probably like a small yacht type thing.
So when your kids are grown up, you don't want to do it with your kids?
No.
Yeah. A lot of energy.
Well, look, we got a big house and it's not big enough for them.
Yeah, just them.
Well, there's a lot to look forward to.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Hopefully lots of grandbabies.
Yeah.
Long time from now.
Yeah.
You say that. My son is a teenager.
I know, but still, he don't need no babies anytime soon.
Yeah.
I hope not. Anyway, we're getting off that subject. I don't want to talk about that. So where can everybody find you? Social medias, websites, anything like that?
Probably the easiest is just Instagram. It's like _the_true_you_, and there's a link to my link tree on there that has a free masterclass which dives into a lot of the stuff we've spoken about today, like the female factor, the differences. There's also a before and after of me, and like a video of where I was before and after. It's pretty confronting. And there's a link there if anyone would like to move through to a consultation to actually find out what's going on for them personally. There's also before and afters of other clients. There's heaps of information there. So that's probably the easiest. I'm on Facebook and all that, but all those links are on there. So it's probably the easiest way to find me, and then go find whatever social media platform suits you better from that point.
Yeah, and I'll make sure to put your link tree in the description, so that way you'll go check everything out. I was on there and checking some stuff out, but while I was doing my research. Pretty good stuff. But we would love to bring you back on and talk again sometime in the future. Catch back up.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
And we appreciate you coming on, and you got to see the wild and crazy part of the BCE show when it's me and T and not just me.
The exactly. Express. It was good having that sort of backing, knowing that the stuff that I'm saying is landing.
It's landing with me, maybe not him though. He probably ignored every bit of it too.
Miss Papa is going to be proud of me in this episode.
He was. Okay. I think it was good having that different perspective.
Oh yeah, it's always great to be able to have these types of conversations, to have the knowledge out there. You know, the more we know, the better we can be.
Absolutely. It's so true. And we can understand each other more. And the more understanding we have, the easier we can communicate and know what each other's, how we're thinking, and not judge each other or just think that we're crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, gee, you're not going to change my mind on the crazy part because
Me and my many personalities.
all women have more than one personality. I don't care what you say. There's two of you in there.
It's all in how we wear our hair that day.
How many beers you done drunk? Who you're around? You get the girls together, every man will back me up. Their woman is a little bit different.
A little bit different.
A little bit more sassy because she's showing off in front
The
of her
sass
friends.
comes out.
Yeah, the sass comes out.
Oh,
That's why we all stand in the corner just looking at you with our little drinks in the corner while y'all ladies are out there having fun, because we know if we go out there and say anything, we're going to get clawed in the face.
Claude.
No, you think you will. You just think you will.
Well,
Well, it depends what you say.
It doesn't even come from the person you're directing your conversation with. It comes from all the women around that
The
are like,
others.
"Screw this, man. What is he saying?"
And they will be like, back up.
Oh, Lord have mercy. This is a great episode. We appreciate you coming on. Always welcome back. And we'll keep in touch. We'll have you come back on.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
All right. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
That's all the time we have for today. Head over and check out our website, thebceshow.com, where you can subscribe to the email list and contact us. But remember to leave us a rate and review. Helps the podcast with that pesky algorithm. Thanks for listening, y'all.